Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's live. As you can see, I'm on location today. We decided to take a little trip down to the river to see a friend's boat. So yeah, chilling out here, which is quite nice. Today we've got Audrey on the podcast, on the live. We're going to be talking about her journey, what she's been through, and kind of just what she's been up to during lockdown and everything else. It's going to be really, really exciting. I hope that the connection stays well. I think I'm in a good spot, so yeah, we should be able to get going fairly soon. As soon as Audrey requests to join, I can bring her on and we can get her involved in this live. Hope everyone's having a lovely day. The sun is shining here in lovely England, wherever everyone. Yes, I hope everyone's enjoying their lovely sunshine. If you can get out on it, or if you've been at work all day, you can get out on it too. Hello, Audrey.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Your background's a lot more relevant than mine.
Well,
I'm on low.
my table.
It looks great. It looks like you're in a studio. It's amazing.
That's great.
Yeah, it's good. I've got myself a lovely, great big tree to sit behind today. So yeah, I'm having a good one. So how are you? How have you been? How is lockdown treating you? Where are you in the world? You're in Amsterdam, right?
Well, I'm in the Netherlands, but I'm in a city, village next to Utrecht.
Okay, perfect. Very
So,
good. What's it like here? Is the weather nice?
Yeah, I think it's about it. Tomorrow is going to be 27 degrees. Okay, tomorrow is what really matters. Tomorrow, we're out. Tomorrow is the day. But no, I've been great actually. My job hasn't stopped. I work in a call center, and we haven't been home. We've been working. We can't do our job from home, so
there you go. Fantastic, good stuff. So you're still going into an office, or are you doing everything from home?
We're actually going into an office still, but we have had really, well, to be honest, the lockdown in the Netherlands has been very different than the lockdown in London, or at least in the UK. I think some of my friends are still in London, and it's a lockdown. Here it's quite shops are
it's all good. It's all good. So have you had any time where you've just been at home doing nothing other than just waiting for coronavirus to sort of pass over?
You mean in the time that quarantine has started?
Yeah. Have you had any time just on your own, just doing not a lot other than reflecting on this time?
Every weekend, to be honest. But only when I'm out already being social. So necessarily go and look for people.
Absolutely.
And I focus on myself. I read, I dance, I write.
Sounds good. So do you want to tell the people that are listening kind of who you are, what you've been up to, and where your sort of your backstory? Because you messaged me earlier in the week and you told me a little bit about what your journey up to this point. But do you want to just share that with everyone that's listening, and so everyone can be up to date?
Yeah, of course. So I think my journey obviously started when I was very young, just because life happened. But I think what made me, because one of the reasons why I'm here is because I started a podcast, and it's called the Soulflower Space. And I think when I was young, I was very accused of expressing too much and being too much and taking up too much space. And why does everything have to be so deep? And why do you always want to talk about feelings? And it kind of made me feel like I was wrong and too much, and like I was just, what am I doing if everything's wrong? Because I'm not feeling it for no reason. And then when I got into therapy, because of the way how turbulent my life was, the therapist was like, you're actually quite emotionally intelligent, and what you're feeling is actually a lot more than the average person can feel, and that's why a lot of people might not be able to relate. And also in a society where it's kind of wrong to have a lot of emotions and express them, because you don't want to stand out, you don't want to freak out anyone, you don't take up too much space, because what if the focus is on you? And so being very vocal about that is one of my strengths, but I think it makes a lot of people feel very uncomfortable. But then again, I've come to realize that actually nowadays it makes people feel a lot more comfortable, because I feel
Yeah.
people are looking for that right now and they're trying to find themselves.
Yeah, big time. I think you're right. I think there's a lot of. I mean, this week in London or in the UK, we have a mental health week. Is it the same? Is it the same in the Netherlands? No. So we have mental health week this week, and it's talking about basically everything that you've just discussed. It's kind of expressing feelings that you might be scared to share, or feelings that you might have had in the past that don't really know how to deal with. And I think that when people go on a journey, they discover a lot about themselves, good and bad, and it's I think how you deal with those emotions that really shape you as a person. So from where you were before you started, realizing that the journey you're on now was the way you're going to go, what do you think you've learned sort of coming through that phase in your life? What do you think the biggest takeaway from where you were to where you are now is?
I think the biggest takeaway from my whole journey is that vulnerability is the start, the middle, and ending of your journey. And I
Interesting.
my last podcast is I released it yesterday. It's actually about that, and it's really scary. It's not fun sometimes, but I think stepping into a room, being willing to fall flat on your face, but thinking at the same time that this could actually be my biggest win and not the outcome. I think that's one I'm now afraid of how people are going to look at me, because I know that I see myself now for how I want to see myself, and it doesn't
Yeah.
what you say about me. If it is uplifting or upbuilding criticism, then it's so welcome. But if it's judgment out of reflection, deflection, or anything else, then it's just there. Really, I'm not. Yeah.
So how do you deal with I suppose that courage? Because like you said, walking into a room where you don't know anyone, and you could be potentially fall flat on your face, or you could like take the room by storm. What do you tell yourself to keep that courage high, so that you don't essentially leave the room straight away, or go into yourself, or find yourself being super scared of the situation?
Well, there was this, I think it was a TikTok or something else, and it said, like, did you die though? And it sounds really ridiculous, but that is really, I've been through my own amount of things like losing my dad and not having contact with my mom and other things that I've been through. And I felt like those things I thought were going to make me not be able to breathe someday. I felt like one day you're not going to wake up, because the pain that you feel physically and the pain, yeah, the intense pain you feel like I can't get through this. No matter how hard I try, I'm actually not going to make it. And then when you do come through those things and you actually realize that by day it actually gets easier, even though I still miss my dad, I'm not feeling the cruciating pain in my body, and realizing that I overcame losing my best friend really made me realize that I can walk into any room and people can say whatever. I can even get, I don't know how many heartbreaks, lose the favorite job that I wanted, but there's nothing I can't really handle. And I think that there's a lot of people who can relate in their own ways, because we all go through things, and the physical pain that you go through, it can go as bad as vomiting, that you feel like, I am actually physically feel like I'm dying. I don't know what dying feels like, but this must be it. And
Yeah.
then when you do it and you look back at it, you're like, wow, I actually did that. And I think about that before I walk into a room. What is this person going to think of me that is worse than what I already overcame?
Yeah, absolutely. It's that whole expression of what's the worst that can happen. It's that thing of, I speak to people a lot about the things that stop them from becoming the person they want to be in life. And a lot of the time it comes down to them having a fear of something that's stopping them from taking that next step forward, right? Or pushing their comfort zone into their stretch zone, which is what I like to call it. And a lot of people almost think that their stretch zone is where the panic zone sets in. They think, oh my God, if that goes wrong, then I'm going to be panicking and everything's going to go wrong, and it's going to be like the worst thing can happen. But
Mm-hmm.
actually, if you do break it down, if you work it out and say to yourself, what is the worst that can happen? Or did I die though? It kind of, it puts everything back into perspective and makes you realize that when you approach a situation that you're not used to, it's completely natural to be nervous, overwhelmed, vulnerable, scared, all the emotions under that umbrella, because it's brand new, you know, and you've got no sort of benchmark to sort of go off. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of thing. But then, as you said yourself, when you look back on it, you can almost celebrate the fact and use that same scared, vulnerable, you know, nervous feeling as actually a strength to then go and do other things that are a similar sort of nature. So yeah, I think that's amazing. The podcast that you do, what's the general theme? Is it talking about other people's journeys, or what's the reason you started that?
That's a good question. I think I just safe space for myself. I want to create a safe space where other people can talk about their struggles, but also their wins. You know, there's a lot of discomfort sometimes to discuss your wins, because you might feel like, am I a show off? Can I really say that about myself? Do people really care about it? And I feel like I want to create a safe space to talk about just life. I want to talk about sex. I want to talk about taboos and taboos. I want to talk about cultural differences. I want to talk about anything that makes people actually feel really uncomfortable and make it comfortable, because there's nothing that you cannot talk about.
Yeah, I actually think that's a really nice thing to do, because it's weird in this day and age where we're more connected than ever before. You know, you can talk to someone from wherever you are in the world for, you know, almost instantly, but yet we don't share enough of what we're actually thinking and feeling. Whereas back in the day, before technology came along, we used to talk to our mates about everything. You know, we used to sort of share our feelings and our deepest, you know, regrets, as well as our biggest goals and stuff like that. Nowadays, you don't do that anymore. And I find that quite weird, the fact that we're so able to connect with people and yet we don't share that stuff. And I don't know why it is. I think it might be that sort of, do you think it's like a vulnerability thing? Do you think it's a worry of being exposed or something? I don't know. What do you reckon?
I think personally, what I say in my podcast as well, there's one TED talk that really blew my mind, and it is from Brene Brown. It actually
she's amazing.
Yeah, she talked about vulnerability, and she basically spoke about the fear that people have of, basically, if you step into a relationship, you don't want to say I love you first because you are afraid that they're not going to say it back. Things like that. You don't want to give too much because what if you don't get it in return? And I think that in this society, because everything is so exposed and everything is so visible, yeah, see all people's wins, and then especially like on Instagram, when people only share their wins and you are crying in your bed, you're thinking to yourself, hold on, everybody is happy, everybody's in a relationship, here I am miserable, like,
yeah,
sadly sitting in my bed. And I think I want to, especially, and this is going to sound a bit, yeah, it is what it is, but especially because of my looks, I think a lot of people have this image of me. She has light eyes, but she has a bit of a tan, she does modeling work, she's perfect. And I think that, not any more than anyone else, but I think I'm a great advocate for being real, because a lot of people think that I'm not. A lot of people think that I am perfect, and they think that because of the way I look, that I don't have any substance, that I have nothing to say, and that I'm never sad. They even think I don't shit and I don't fart. Well, guess what? I don't shit live. So I actually want to make sure that those stigmas and those assumptions are removed from this world, because we are all equally beautiful, we all equally struggle, we all equally cry. Well, some people don't cry.
Yep.
There's no difference.
Yeah, I think it's also a lot of what I find, and the journeys that sort of the journey I've taken over the last few years, is that when you start off in life and you start making friends and you start having circles of people that you hang around with, you know, you're known as the person that they know on that day. And if you then decide to change tack and sort of go left and everyone else is going right, then you almost have to be prepared for the fact you're going to sort of lose certain aspects of your life. But then you have to also remember that you're going to gain other aspects of your life, right? And
I think that a lot of what you were just saying about, you know, Instagram, for example, and social media and like logging on and when you're feeling a bit down and seeing everyone else having an amazing time and being really sort of like kind of just showing their life off, you have to remember that those people maybe were the people that you were associating with in your past life, or maybe the chapter before you started this new one. So if people like that, and you open your Instagram and you're finding people that are not, you're not enjoying what looking at their content, or you don't like the way that they're portraying themselves or whatever, just unfollow them, or don't let them clog your feed with random crap. You know, it's weird because we don't do it as a society. Like I've sat with multiple people on their phones like, oh, that stupid person, or oh, I can't believe they've done that again. I'm like, why are you following them if that's the way you feel about, you know, it's clearly affecting you more than it's affecting them, because you're getting quite angry about it, you know. So I think that there's this feeling of like missing out almost, that people kind of, I think, have to almost get over. It's like if you won't miss out on anything. If anything, you're going to miss out on feeling crap about seeing someone else's life apparently being better than yours, and you don't know it's better than yours. You're just assuming that, and that, you know, as the expression goes, and assuming something makes an arse out of you and me. You know, you can't assume something because you don't know all the facts. And so if you're looking, if you're feeling a bit down and you're feeling a bit sort of like sort of overwhelmed, or you're feeling like you're not on the right path, I would say start getting in touch with people that you respect, that you enjoy hanging out with, that you enjoy watching, you enjoy talking to, that you can trust, that you can, you know, learn from, I think is the biggest thing. And, you know, the journey that I've been on, I've done that so many times. There's people I've reached out to who I've learned so much from, and they've just been people that I've met through Instagram, you know. And I'm sure you found the same. How many episodes of your podcast have you done?
4.
Four.
Since
And
weeks. Yeah.
and have you got lots more booked in?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna do a podcast every week. So now it's just gonna be me. So one episode is about me actually like talking about one specific subject, and the second one is gonna be me. Well, there's a lot of quotes that are questionable, I think, and that are very up to perspective. And so
Mm-hmm.
I try to read certain quotes, and actually put them in perspective, talk about how you can interpret them and how they can actually benefit you, rather than, because there's a lot of quotes that are they have a quite narcissistic taste to it. I feel like I don't really
Okay.
like to because I feel like everybody throws it around like it's glitter nowadays, but I feel like there's of quotes out there that, depending on what mind state you're in, you're going to read differently, and they can be very destructive,
Absolutely.
says. And I think that a lot of people talk a lot about toxic people, but forget that basically you are not entitled to label no one toxic, because it's not about them. Every lesson is about yourself, and you don't have to
Yeah.
label someone else negative to validate your feelings or to make it easier to let them go. So I kind of try to put things in perspective, really. So that's the other
Yeah.
episode. And what you were saying about like following people and stuff, I feel like there's two sides to it. I feel like, yes, there's actually a new movement that some of the people that I follow have practiced, which is where they unfollow everybody and they kind of think about who do they miss in their timeline, and they actually start to follow just them, because obviously those people have stuck with them, and those people pop up in their mind and they've obviously made an impression. But then I
Yeah.
also sometimes I don't necessarily like, let's say, for instance, what my brother posts. My brother posts, but if he would post things, I would kind of feel like I don't necessarily want to follow my brother because he doesn't know what to post. So then I would follow him, but you know, I kind of just really care about what he posts, and I feel like people that get really worked up about what other people post maybe says a lot about why you care so much. What is it inside of you that really cares that intensely to have intense emotions about a post on the social media platform? You know, there's two sides to it, because I do definitely agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
There's something about yourself, like what does it in you that makes you want to respond that way?
Yeah, I think it's funny. I've actually been one of those people who, for a long, long time, I was also in the modeling industry, and my Instagram account was purely for modeling photos, right? And I used to feel like I had to post one every day and had to have some clever caption, and it was all kind of like, quite self-indulgent, right? And I didn't enjoy it that much, to be honest with you. So I actually came off Instagram for about 18 months, and I came back on it when I had discovered life coaching, and it was more of like I knew that was what I wanted to do. And when I came back onto it, I had more purpose. I had more reason to be on it. I had more reason to spread, knowledge and news, and actually give back to the people that were following me. But the problem was the people, and this is what I was saying before, the people that were following me before obviously were following me because I was modeling. Now that people are following me because I'm now doing life coaching. So what I've actually done recently is gone through my following list, and I've just gone through and I've found any account I can that hasn't posted. If you have if you have a the Instagram algorithm, if you have loads of followers and not a lot of engagement, your posts don't actually get to the people that really would like to see them. And so if you've got actually less following, right, and obviously a better engagement, your posts are actually reaching more people and therefore actually getting out to the people that want to see it, right? So it's actually quite an amazing feeling, like liberating, going through and deleting followers, because forever, as long as I've known, people go on Instagram to get followers. That's the whole idea of what you're meant to do it for. But actually going through and deleting people that are already following me, it's felt like really quite healthy in a weird way. And I now feel like I'm actually talking to people that actually want to see my stuff. And hopefully one day I'll get to the point where the people that are on my feed are the people that actually like what I put out and are getting value from it. Because I'd rather that than having 100,000 people that don't give a shit, and that's the goal, that's the aim, that's where I'd like to be doing it, and hopefully just spreading the love. So yeah, it'd be good. Right, so usually on this I give I sort of end the show with about 15 questions, quick fire questions for people to get used to, get to know you a little bit better. Are you ready for my 55 quick fire questions? Okay, right. So some of them obviously, most of them were for people that are doing like hardcore lockdown in the UK, but we'll try them anyway, and we'll see how they go. Right, first question: what's your favorite takeaway?
Fries. I like fries. In the Netherlands, we have a special dish. It's just fries with mayonnaise, but it's delicious.
Perfect. That sounds good. I like that too. What is your favorite app you're using at the moment?
Spotify.
Nice. Yes, I like that. Spotify is definitely one of my faves too. What is the best book you've ever read, and what did it teach you?
Brene Brown, Daring Greatly.
Nice.
It's the same thing about vulnerability and just not being afraid to take a leap of faith.
Nice. I need to get that. I haven't read that book. I need to check it out. It should be a good one. What's the best series on Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever you've been watching recently?
How to Get Away with Murder. It's so good, but it's really good. How to Get Away with Murder. Definitely.
Like it. It's good. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Energetic, bright, emotional.
Nice. I like those. They're good. In the morning, what is the first thing you do when you get up?
When I get out of my bed or when I open my eyes?
We're both. Let's do both. I can tell probably what one of them is.
Well, actually, when I'm in the bed, the first thing I do is think about my dreams, because I dream very intensely. So I'm trying to remember all my dreams. And when I get out, I actually go to the toilet for a number 1 and a number 2.
Nice and honest. Like it. It's good. Have you seen any crazy quarantine outfits on your in the last few weeks in and around home?
No, I don't think a lot of people share that yet. People are learning to be vulnerable, so we will get there.
That's good. And what's another question for? I was going to. Oh yeah, tea or coffee? Which do you prefer?
Tea. Coffee is disgusting.
Where is the first place you want to fly to when we're allowed to sort of start traveling the world again?
I have a holiday booked to the Dutch Caribbean. They better not cancel it. August, the Dutch Caribbean. My flight.
Oh, that's soon.
Still pending.
That's soon. That's really soon.
I hope.
Okay. What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
That's a difficult one. My brain is freezing. What is the best advice I've ever been given? Yeah, I don't know at this point. There's so much.
Or what about the best piece of advice you could give everyone that's listening now?
I think because I'm so in the vulnerable topic, I think being vulnerable is the great.
Perfect. What do you think your greatest strength is?
My emotions.
Your emotions, like it. And lastly, what day of the week is it?
It's Wednesday because tomorrow.
It's Wednesday. Yes, it is. I like it. Literally every single person I ask that to, it has to take a second. They're like, "Is it's Wednesday? Yeah, it's Wednesday. It's definitely Wednesday. It's definitely Wednesday."
I actually go to work, so I actually have to talk about, it's Wednesday, tomorrow's Thursday, customer service. So for me, it was.
You're lucky, man. I literally I have days where I'm like, is it Monday? No, it's Sunday. No, it's Monday. It's definitely Monday. Or maybe it's a bank holiday. We've had a few of those in the last few weeks in the UK, and it's been like super confusing. Whether you're like, is it a weekend? No, it's a normal day. It's a normal day. But anyway,
I'm already home. It's quarantine. All right.
might as well. I just put on my good sweatpants versus like my comfortable sweatpants. It's good. Audrey, thank you so much for joining me on this Instagram live. If anyone wants to find you and hear about your podcast and get in touch with you, how can they find you? What's the best place?
The best place at this current time is Instagram. So you can just click on my account and follow me, and I'll just be promoting my podcast and everything else that I'll be doing.
Wonderful. Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me today, and enjoy the rest of your week and stay safe as always. Thank you everyone for joining us. I hope you had some lovely insight into that, and I'll put this on my IGTV so you can watch it back as much as you like in the next few weeks. All right. Nice one. Take care. Have a good evening. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone, on location here next to my big factory. We'll see you here tomorrow at 3 o'clock. We've got another one with Chris Williamson. But yes, have a lovely evening. Peace out.